So now that you have access to the CSA system, I'm going to teach you how to create a record and search for those records. So today we'll be going over how to search CSA to see if a record exists. If there's not a record, we'll teach you how to add a new record, enter demographic information, take a picture, collect fingerprints, scan release of information, save the record, and then print the card. When you access your desktop, you'll see that you have these icons. The icon that is listed as CSA card is the icon that you want to select. When you select that, it will pop up with this, and you'll have to enter in your email address as well as your password to be able to access the system. Once you have accessed the system, it will populate with this back screen for you, and it will just be blank. The first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to search for that client. And so we'll click this search button right there on the bottom, and it will populate a second screen for us to input the information. So when you get to this screen, the more information that you add, the less names that you'll see. So for this example, we've got G as the first letter of the name and C as the first letter of the last name. So you'll see that you'll get quite a large selection of clients with those options. So if the client's name could have multiple spellings or variations, you'll want to put in as much information as you can, but make sure that we are searching to find the right client. So for instance, you might have someone with the name of William, but William might go by Bill. And so you want to search for both William and Bill. So if a client's name could have multiple spelling variations, we want to be sure to grasp that while we're searching this database. The more options you give it, then the less likely we are to create a duplicate client. There's also an option for us to search by fingerprint. When you come to this screen, this is the very first starting screen, you're going to see this button right here that says Fingerprint Search. You'll click that button in order to search for the fingerprints. The client likely provided fingerprints for their right thumb and right index finger, but you do have the option to select any of the fingers by using this drop-down button. You'll click on Start after the print is captured, then you'll click on Done. And so I have an example of the machine right here that's capturing the fingerprint. We did find that it was more helpful that the client actually hold it. If they're holding it, it captures it better. Also, if their fingers are cleaned and the machine's clean, it's going to get a better capture. If a client comes in and their fingers are cold, it might not appear on the machine. And so sometimes you'll just have them warm up their hands too before having them place their finger on there, or if you're having problems with that. So our next step to create or update information, it's really important that the consent form is signed. It has to be on file in order for us to enter any of the client information. We want to make sure that it's complete and updated as much as possible. So we'll ask the client to provide their zip code, education level, veteran status, and employment status. So the Utah Coordinated Service Client Consent Form is required for us before we can take any of the information from the client to input it into the system. The name, gender, social security number, and birth date are the information that will be shared within the system for other users of this system. A photo or fingerprint is required to save the client information. If the individual refuses to be photographed, add all of the demographic information, add the HMIS ID number, and capture the fingerprints. Scan the consent form, and then click Save. Once you do that, a generic avatar will be displayed as the picture, like it is seen here. You will get a warning, and it says you haven't captured the cardholder's picture. Do you want to save anyway? So if the client is refusing to do their picture, we would accept their fingerprint and be able to save anyways. To capture a photo, we're just going to click the Start button and point the webcam. And so this is what the webcam looks like. You'll want to keep it 12 to 14 inches from the client so that the picture fills the whole space, and then click Capture. So just another tip, sometimes the lighting will be off. If you hold the camera still for just a minute, you'll see that it'll adjust to adapt to the lighting. The better the picture that you're seeing on the screen, the better the picture will print out on the card. And so if you're just a little patient with that, you'll see that it becomes more clear. So for the fingerprint section, when we go to add that, all you're going to do is click this fingerprint button. But we want to make sure that the client has signed the release form, and that is the form that we just previously talked about. As long as that's signed, then we can continue with this information and click fingerprints and then yes. Right thumb and right index finger are the recommended prints. However, any fingers can be used. So you would just want to change the print from the drop-down menu. And this is what it looks like. And like I said, if you have the client hold it, it will be easier to capture. Capturing the fingerprints is a two-step process. You press start to begin and gently place right thumb on the fingerprint reader until image is captured. Then you'll click the next button and be able to capture the next finger. And so in this instant, it was the left thumb. You have to change it manually to get the different finger. And so once you select the finger that you're going to use, follow the same process to capture the second fingerprint. When the second image is captured, you'll just click done. After the releases have been signed, you'll place them on the scanner. You'll click the consent button to begin scanning the documents. You'll scan the consent prior to clicking save. After adding the demographic information, HMIS, taking a photo, taking fingerprints, and scanning the releases, click on Save to create a unique ID and save record. Once that's done, you can click the print button to print the card. This is what the machine looks like. In the very front, there's a place for the cards to be loaded into the machine. You'll want to make sure that the power button is on. And once you hit print, it's going to give you the option of where to send that document. And so the XPS card printer is the option you want to make sure is selected, and then click OK. Click OK and the printed card will drop below. This is what the card will look like. It will have the client's name and their ID number. As you can see, it says on the very bottom that this is not a valid government ID. We want to make sure that the clients understand that so that they are not trying to use it as such. So that is what we're going to do to create a card. This next step is going to show us what we will do for the check-in process. You're going to log into the jobs.utah.gov/CSA. You're going to click on the Utah ID. You want to make sure that you do not use the Google, Facebook, or Yahoo links to try to log in. You're going to put the first part of your email address as well as password to access this system. Once you're logged in, it's going to come up with an option for you to select a site. This will be a drop-down for you to select which location you are working out of. Once you select a site, it's going to take you to the screen where we can scan the client's card. You can scan the card based off of the barcode that is on the card, or you can enter the client's first and last name. When checking in a person into the safe space and after scanning a barcode or searching for an individual I name, please click on the check-in button. If you're needing to access their information, you can click on the highlighted blue area and it will take you to this next screen. This is where you'll be able to see all of the client's information as well as their signed consent forms. It's really important that we input all of the information at the very beginning before we hit the save buttons. We want to have all of their information such as their name, date of birth, as much information as possible, as well as that signed consent form. But if you forget to do the signed consent form, don't worry, there's another way for us to be able to access so that you can get that put into the system. And that's through the scanning from a web application. On your desktop, you'll have an icon that says HP ScanJet. If you click on that, it will allow you to access to have that scanned. The CSA consent form is required to enter any information to the Coordinated Service Application Database. So we want to make sure that we have that consent signed before we do anything else. We want to first check to make sure that the consent form is uploaded. So you'll search the client's information either by their number or their name, and you'll see this screen. So as you can see, it says no results found. That means that this client does not have their consent form scanned into their record. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to insert the signed release forms into the document scanner. You'll want to follow the visual guides on the scanner to ensure that the document is facing the correct direction. Once scanned, save the document to this PC Documents. It's suggested that you save this information under the client's HMIS number so that you'll be able to easily identify which record it belongs to. So in order to upload the consent form into this client's record, we're going to go ahead and click Browse underneath their consent form name. So you'll double click on the document saved and it will upload it right into the queued documents. As you can see, now under the consent form is the highlighted blue consent form. That file name will be the name that you've saved it as, so likely their HMIS number. If you click on that name, you'll be able to view the consent form from that screen. So the HRC staff will use personal alerts when a new CSA is required due to duplicate HMIS records being merged. As of right now, DWS staff can set alerts for individuals who are temporarily not allowed to enter into the safe space. You will not need to worry about those that are highlighted that way, but make sure to watch for the ones highlighted yellow so that we can help identify those duplicate clients. Alerts set for individuals at the safe space will appear as red alerts, and those are the ones that you don't need to worry about. The card issue alerts will show in yellow. These alerts are the ones that you want to be paying attention to because it's likely that that means that this client has a duplicate client ID number. If you click on the blue test button, you'll be able to access that client's information and be able to see the alerts and why they are there. So if I click on the test, I can go to the client screen. Under details is where you would have seen their name and all of their identifying information. And this next tab, the status tab, shows their current status. As you can see, this client has a duplicate HMIS number. The HMIS number listed on the top left-hand corner is different from the CSA number listed in this alert. So we would want to make sure to correct that so that we do not have duplicate clients. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your supervisor. Have a great day.